Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now this absolute monster piece of wood is Lignum Vitae. Lignum is a wood from northern South America and the kind of Caribbean area, and it's rated as the 4th hardest wood in the world. To give you an idea of how hard it is, this has a janker hardness rating of around 4,500. And if you're used to using oak, oak has a rating of about 1,700. So that gives you an idea of how hard this is. Now, it is illegal to export this wood without a license under the CITES Appendix 2 regulations. Appendix 2 means that you can export flora and fauna under that regulation, but you do need a special license to do so, and it has to meet certain conservation regulations. Anything listed under CITES Appendix 1 can't be touched, can't be sold, can't be bought, or anything like that. Now, this one, luckily enough, doesn't fall under either of those categories because it's old stock. This was bought by Yandles, a company where I buy a lot of my wood from a closing business that has had it in stock for many decades. So this is how we've managed to get it, and how I managed going to be able to turn it without breaking any laws. Right, so what are we going to do with it? Right, well, I think we're going to make a vase. I want it to be as robust and as imposing as possible, but also have some elegant features about it. First thing to do is figuring out how to mount this. Now this, as I said, it weighs an awful lot. It's 13 kilo, which is around 30 pounds, maybe a little bit under. And I don't necessarily want all of that weight sticking out over my lathe, so obviously we are going to be using tailstock. I'm not going to be using a worm screw. I'm going to shove it on this end because it's the flattest end, my largest faceplate I've got. And we'll make a start, which is this one. Pre-drill all the holes, get it nice, make sure it's nice and secure, and then get it onto the lathe and bring up the tailstock. Now the other end of this has, now it's got a hole from where it was turned many years ago, and that hole seems a little bit off center. So if my tailstock is going to be hitting this edge where I think it is, I'm going to put a piece of wood on this end and compress it in that way to make sure that it's not wobbling around and it is nice and safe to turn. Right, so let's get started. Oh, jeez. Okay, I've just put 2 screws in initially to help me pre-drill the rest of these holes without it sliding around the place. Okay, we have unfortunately snapped 3 screws while doing that, but I'm fairly sure we are safe enough to proceed. Right, so I'll get this on the lathe, bring up the tailstock, and we'll sharpen up. Okay, the tailstock, when brought up, it wants to push into a hole and change direction, so I'm just going to put a little piece of wood, of a sacrificial block, in here and compress it against it. This is a piece of ebony, which is going to be nice and strong. Now then, slightly nervous about turning this on. Okay, right, I'm going to give this a spin up, standing well out of the way, see what kind of speed we can get to, and then we'll get started. Okay, and that was about 640. I had a bit of a play around with different speeds, and 640 seems to be the sweet spot at the moment. Hopefully that'll increase in a little while. Okay, we're about as prepared as we can be. I've sharpened up. I did contact a good friend of mine, Richard, who does the wood turning with Dick channel, because I know he's turned Lignum before, and he gave me a few bits of advice on how to deal with it and what to look out for, so I'm very grateful for that. So nothing left really except to start. I've double checked everything, we're as safe as we can be, So let's get cracking. Okay, so far so good. We're not quite getting all the way around yet, but there's some beautiful colour variations in this. Now you can tell, looking at the surface, that this has got quite a lot of oils in the wood, which I guess is why it's so good at being used at bearings for ships. It obviously helps protect the wood from any kind of water ingress. Okay, let's keep on going. I think I'll just do a bit on the top and then we'll get the whole thing one shape. A little bit there, but that's fine because that's going to get taken away soon to create the tenon. Now, there really is quite a strong smell from this. It really is quite sweet. Now, Lignum Vitae, the grain is difficult to cut mainly because it's very much overlapping. So it's going to be an interesting proposition. Right, one thing I'm wanting to do is create a textured surface, but just with normal wood turning tools, not with routers or anything like that, as we've done in the past. So this is going to be the top of the vase, and I just want to do a quick test in this area to see how it cuts and then quickly how it sands, because this is quite an oily wood. And if you remember back to the Thoya Burl I made a few weeks ago, that was absolutely horrible to sand. And my friend Richard did tell me that your sandpaper does clog up an awful lot very, very quickly with this wood. So I just want to do a quick test in this area. So please excuse me for a little bit. I'll do a quick bit of test and then we'll carry on. Okay, yeah, he was right. Look at that, that's all the waxes and oils coming away as soon as you touch the sandpaper to it. So it's another Thoya Burl that we're going to have a nightmare with. But we're here now, we'll deal with that problem when we come to it. But the actual shape, the pattern we created with that small scraper, I actually like that. I know it's not usual to do testing on a live project, but this is going to be the neck of the vase, so we're perfectly safe to do it here. Any mistakes we can make here are all going to disappear anyway. Okay, right, we know what problems we're going to have to face, but I do like that design. I love what it does to the grain pattern, so that's nice. Right, we can start creating a shape. Okay, I'm going to go and sharpen up again. We need to make a tenon on the base here because there is absolutely no way I'm going to take out the tailstock to put a recess in. And then we want quite a steep curve up to the base. The widest point is going to be about there. So quite a steep edge here. Right, but before I do anything, I promised to take my wife out for lunch. So we'll go and do that. I shall see you soon. Okay, we're back from lunch. I've just sharpened up again. Now, I've just suddenly remembered that we have got a hole underneath where the ebony block is. So we've got to take this down a little bit further so we can make a successful tenon on here. So I'm going to carry on with a ball gouge. I may swap over to a carbide to make life a little bit easier, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm just going to really get a carbide on here and see how that does. Nope, carbide's not doing any good whatsoever. Okay, I'm going to go back to the ball gouge. I'm going to try and whittle away a bit of the edge of this ebony block, as I've already started a bit with the carbide, so I can take away a bit of this wood here to making the tenon easier. Just going to sharpen up again first. Okay, my block of ebony came out halfway through there, and it didn't seem to make an ounce of difference to the sturdiness of this, so I'm just going to very, very quickly turn this centre down, put the tailstock back in, and then carry on with the tenon. Okay, that's excellent. I've got rid of that hole, so I can get my tailstock back in there. We can get ourselves safe again, rework this base, and then make a proper tenon. Just going to sharpen up again. Okay, that's the tenon made. It may not look incredibly large, but it doesn't need to be. This is always going to be supported at two ends, no matter pretty much what we're doing. So, okay, what I need to do next is just create a shoulder here where the jaws are going to sit against, which will be the base of the vase, and then we can start working on our curve going away from there. That's the shoulder, and I can start worrying about this curve. Let's go quickly sharpen up again, and then we'll try and plan that curve out. Okay, now initially I want this curve to come from this area here to pretty much the base, but only gradual at the start here, and then get more severe as we get around this corner. I'm going to quickly put a line on this bowl, sorry, in the vase, just so I don't go past it. That should help me, give me a good indication, and I'll put one here as well. Right, that's where the curves are going to be between, but it's not going to be like a complete semicircle. It's going to be a gradual curve from here, and then getting more pronounced on the edge as it gets towards the centre. That may not make an awful lot of sense, but I kind of know what I'm doing, I think. the nice cuts. I mean, that is incredibly smooth, but it's still not perfect, so we'll keep on going with this. I'm going to go and sharpen up again. This inclusion we've got here, we're just going to live with. It's part of the natural wood. I don't want to try and turn that away or anything like that. I'm just going to live with it and embrace it, as it were. Right, we're up to about 900. We're over 900 RPM now turning. I'll still maybe be able to pick up a little bit faster, but we'll see how it goes. Right, I'm going to sharpen up again. Oh, I nearly swore then. Oh, that made my heart go jump. That was just silly. As I got to that nice final end of the cut, I just pulled it back and I just had my tool too close to the piece. Right, let me just get my breath back. I'll try that again. I think something just fell out. Yes, there you are, it's gone. Where is it? There's a bit of it. Okay, right, well it didn't want to be in there, so we shall leave it gone. It's a new extra feature. We can call it a live edge now. Okay, that shape is nearly there. It may need a little bit refining later on, but I think we're okay for the minute. Now the next part, before we even think about turning this round, although we are going to have to turn it around soon because we've got quite a big face plate on the bottom. Right, this needs to come in and graduate all the way to the top. So what I'm going to do is just start taking this down to a place where we can start turning it around. Right, I've got about 1 inch from the face plate at the top, so we'll just make a gradual curve here and then we'll turn it around. Okay, that'll do for now. Dirty cuts, but ow, but they'll do the job. That's silly. Right, I'll turn this around. We've still got 3 screws in the top that we need to extract somehow, so let's take a look at those. Okay, despite pre-drilling everything, we've still got 8 screws left in the top. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the screws for the moment, although we will need to keep a very careful eye on them, as I do have a plan. Okay, my plan for these screws is I'm going to put a line on here, just on the outside on the screws. And as I turn down to each one, I'll switch to a carbide and then I'll just gently clip the edge, then I'll be able to pull it out and then we'll move on down to the next one. I could be on all day trying to dig them out. I can't believe we lost so many. Luckily they're all outside of where the neck is going to end up. Well, it is now anyway. Right. I think I'll get these out of the way first, these screws, or at least the first few, before I do much else with the rest of the vase, because I don't like that forever being in my head. Right, so I'll just work around down the top so we can get them out, and then we'll make whatever we've done here fit in with the design we want. last one. Right. I have to remove, as you can see, an awful lot of wood to get those out. Hopefully I can still make the design I want work. If not, it'll be a similar design, just a little bit shorter. Right, I'm going to go and sharpen up again, have a quick breather, and we'll carry on. Okay, we're all ready to start again. The screws are out, we've got no more worries there. So now our main concern is getting the shape right before we start putting the design on the surface. So I want a kind of an outside curve running from the top to about there. So it's going to be a tight one. I may have to take this a little bit narrower to get it looking right, but we'll figure it out as we're going along. I think I'll start from this end here and start working down and working backwards along the piece. I have sharpened up again. Okay, I'll just quickly stop because I'm going to have to put a glove on because some of the bits coming off have just broken this skin there, so I'm just going to put a glove on for the remaining bit of this outside turning. Okay, we've got the shape pretty much where I want it. Before I start putting the patterning on the surface, I just want to refine a couple of areas which I feel need a little bit more work. It's not strictly necessary because we are going to change the surface anyway with the patterning, but I just want to make sure it's as good as I can get it here, so any slight errors aren't kind of reflected in the next step. Okay, excellent. Right, now for the fun bit. No, the fun bit's going to be the sanding. Okay, now to create this pattern I'm using a 1/2 inch round nose scraper, and I'm just going to make marks on here every 1/2 inch along to try and make sure that I keep this pattern nice and regular. Okay, I should do it. Okay, we're ready to start. I'm going to start from the second one down there, as opposed to going to the top. I'm not sure how it's going to look at the top, but I'll start from there, and at the end I'll take a look at it, and if I think it needs it at the top, I'll put one in the top as well. goodness that's over. I don't think I've ever had such a long period of concentration in all my life. I really like that. Oh dear. Now the knot we've got here hasn't taken very kindly to being scraped, so hopefully that'll be sorted with sanding. I might just crank up the speed a little bit and just go over this little area again, just see if I can smooth it out a little bit, very carefully. It's not ideal, but we'll live with it. Right, guess what we're going to do now? We're going to do some sanding. Now, I've done a bit of research, and I have a very good idea now of how I'm going to sand this. And it's not like anything you've seen me do before, so watch this space. Right, I'll get set up, and I shall see you back in a second. Okay, we're just about set up. Now, the best way I've found, or the best way I've heard, to sand oily woods like lignum is using oil and wet and dry sandpaper. So it's coming in a very, very flash box, but we've got some lemon oil here, which I'm going to decant into this little pot, and then using wet and dry, I'm just going to keep on going over the surface from the coarse sandpaper all the way through to the very fine ones, and see how it goes. I don't know how this is going to work. This is completely new to me. I know one thing for sure, I'm going to be wearing a face shield and a dust mask, so we'll see how it goes. It smells nice anyway. That's very bright. Okay. Right, I don't know how this is going to look in the editing, but I'll show you enough to get a good idea of what's going on. Well, I think we can say that worked. Wow. Do you know the best thing of this method? My workshop smells great. That lemon oil really made sanding so easy. Nothing to be scared of at all. That was just brilliant. Okay, there's no finish on this yet. That's just purely the sanding and the lemon oil. I'm sure the lemon oil is, you can buy lemon oil as a polish anyway, but I might just put a wax on the top just to protect it and to give it a nice shine. Okay, all right, let's do that. Okay, the wax we're putting on is beeswax, carinobu wax, and a microcrystalline wax in a mineral oil, which was number 4 on the batch of waxes we made up a couple of months ago. Now I'm going to apply this directly from the cloth, so I'm going to get a good lump on the cloth, get the vase spinning, and then rub it against it. Right, now it's time to tear this into a vase. So I shall set up for hollowing out. I shall bring you back in a second. Okay, we're all about set up, ready to start hollowing this out. Now I've bought myself a set of really long auger bits to do the majority of the hollowing at the start. Now, one warning I was given by my friend Richard was that if this gets too hot, it can develop micro cracks. It's fairly similar to you in that respect. So we are going to take it slowly. We're going to hollow out as far as we dare, and then we're nearly done. I'll put some blue tape on the bit to mark where we want the bottom of the hole to be. So as soon as that gets into the edge, then we know we're deep enough. Well, that went absolutely beautifully. Absolutely over the moon the way it went. I couldn't have wished for a better outcome. I took it really slowly, took a lot of time, waited for the bit to keep on cooling, and then progressing a little bit further, and so on until we've done. Now, we're going to have to think of a way of sanding the inside of this using our oil and wet and dry method, so I'm going to have a quick think about that while I'm just disassembling my hollowing equipment. Okay, I've got a solution. With some double-sided sticky tape, I've taped on this piece of wet and dry to a plastic tube which fits in the inside. So I'm going to drip oil on the inside and then just keep on pushing this in and out to hopefully get the desired effect. It seems to have the desired effect. Sometimes you can only do what you can do, but you put some oil in there as well just to help seal the wood. Give it a nice healthy coat. I'm just going to quickly clean off this edge very carefully with a ball gouge. I probably should have done it earlier, but I kind of got excited and carried away. Okay, excellent. Right, I'll clear up a bit and I'll figure out a way of how we're going to take out this tenon. Okay, we're ready to take the tenon off. We're using a jam chuck technique. I've got a long piece of beech spindle here which goes all the way to the base, and it's held there as a compression fit nice and tightly with the tailstock. So I'm going to slowly take away as much of this tenon as I can safely. We'll clean up the base a bit, give it a sand, and then I'll take it off and finish the rest by hand. Okay, right, I'm going to take this off, finish the rest by hand, and I shall bring you back and we'll look at the finished article. Well, there we have it. Quite a nice Lignum Vitae vase, textured vase. I don't mind telling you, this one scared me. It's the fourth hardest wood in the world, and it's the densest wood in the world. To give you an idea of the uses this wood used to have, I'm sure you've heard of the Titanic. Well, it was lignum that was used for the bearings on the Titanic's propellers. They used it because it has an enormous amount of resistance to moisture or anything like that, and also the oil content in the wood means that it's self-lubricating. So this really is quite a titan amongst woods. Now I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing with this piece. I mean, it'd be lovely to keep hold of it and see how it changes colour with age. You can see that it's starting to develop a greeny hue already, and I believe that continues the older the wood gets, and how it reacts with UV light. Part of me thinks I should sell it and then buy some more wood. The rest of me, I'm not sure. But I think it would have to be a reasonable offer for me to let go of it for right now. Anyway, right, but what I am going to do, because of an enormous amount of requests, is the Australian Mallee that we made last week. I've had about a dozen requests, people wanting to buy this. So I am going to put this on eBay. Rather than just pick out one person saying, yes, okay, you can buy it if you want it. I think the fairest way is just to put it on eBay at £1 start and see who can get it. Right, so that'll be going on 8 o'clock tonight after this video goes out. There's be links in the description below, and just on its, to say that one being on its own, I'm going to list this one which I made on the channel about a year ago. It's a beech bowl inlaid with milliput and brass. Now at the time I was talking to Milliput, the people who make this resin, and they'd never heard of anybody using milliput and brass together, so we're thinking that's a world first, but I can't confirm that. So anyway, they'll be on eBay from 8 o'clock tonight. That's British Standard Time. I will put links in the description. But anyway, if you've enjoyed the turning of this monster, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe and all those usual things. And if you leave a comment as well, you're going to be entered in the giveaway when we get to 25,000 subscribers, which is getting pretty close. When I woke up this morning, we're at 24,000, so we really are not far away. So anyway, there we go. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.